Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Let's Play Elder Scrolls Arena, where episode 180, and we are, what are we doing again? We're in the Black Gates, yes, slowly exploring this pretty big dungeon now that we look at it. We're looking for the map piece to the last part of the Staff of Chaos. So we know that sound. So, there's not a lot going on with me. the moment. Sometimes I like to use these videos to talk about what's going on at the moment. But considering that my last time I did recording and was talking about what's going on, I got a number of dislikes, mostly because I came out as trans and was talking about trans issues very briefly. Well, I say very briefly, it was a bit of a rant, but never mind. What are you gonna do? But anyway, yeah. I suffered quite a few dislikes to the video, or videos, because of that. Bit of a disappointing response. I didn't exactly expect cheerleading, but it's still disappointing nonetheless. Let's readjust myself. I mean, it's quite telling, really, because they are the only videos that I actually got any dislikes on whatsoever. So yeah. But is that gonna stop me talking about that stuff in this video? Probably not. I'm not entirely sure. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Diane Abbott at the moment. Well, that was all kind of last week, but basically last week Diane Abbott published a letter and was accused of being anti-Semitic, and Keir Starmer basically took that and used that to withdraw the whip, basically suspending her. So she's another left-wing candidate that now cannot stand in the next election for Labour. There's all this. It's all well and good, you know. If she's being anti-Semitic, she shouldn't stand. Fair enough. Except the letter itself wasn't anti-Semitic. She was talking about the difference between racism and prejudice in a very technical sense. Although it was short and left a lot to be desired in terms of proving her argument, she wasn't actually anti-Semitic at all. So basically she's had the whip withdrawn from her. Meanwhile, Keir Starmer's gone on to say that there's 100% no tolerance to discrimination, which is a complete lie. As he commissioned a report into discrimination within the Labour Party, and it found that actually there was a great deal of racism in the Labour Party towards the BAME communities, particularly people of colour, such as Diane Abbott. Although this was kind of largely ignored by Keir Starmer because it wasn't the right source of racism and it didn't blame the right sort of people. Because really he wanted it to try and find out that to say yes, it was even more anti-Semitic, the Labour Party is even more anti-Semitic, and it was all down to Corbynites. But that's not what it found. So, anyway, so he's gone on to say there's 100% zero tolerance policy towards discrimination, which is laughable. But what's even more laughable is the precedent that it sets. I mean, the hypocrisy of it all is a bit too much to stomach, really. What do I mean? Well, basically he's withdrawn the writ pending an investigation, yet Keir Starmer has made comments regarding the ability of 16 and 17-year-olds to determine their own gender, which was taken as transphobic and caused quite still offence when following the changes to the Gender Recognition Act within Scotland. Now, it doesn't matter what you think about. It doesn't matter in the slightest what you think about trans rights. The precedent is quite simple to understand, and therein lies the hypocrisy. If basically Diane Abbott's letter can be considered anti-Semitic, and that is enough to have her have the whip withdrawn by people taking offence, then by the same extent, people taking offence at Keir Starmer for being transphobic should see him have his whip removed, which means he can no longer be the leader of the Labour Party. Funny that. So yeah, we shall see how that goes on, but I've spoken out kind of critically against that, as I wish a few others had done, but they spent most of the time basically turning around saying that Diana's letter was offensive, even though it wasn't. Because it was, like I said, it was arguing about the terms racism and prejudice being used interchangeably. And it clarified that that many groups do suffer from prejudice, and basically people have been putting words in her mouth and saying she said this and she said that, and she didn't. Yet she's getting raked over the coals for it. But all it's really done, like I said, is just laid bare the hypocrisy and demonstrated how anti-Semitism is being used for factional purposes more than to act in any terms of actually tackling any form of discrimination. Much to the chagrin of those people who actually do suffer from anti-Semitism. And that why he's claiming that there isn't a hierarchy of discrimination in society and within the Labour Party. The suddenness with which he has acted to withdraw the rip at perceived anti-Semitism while completely ignoring numerous claims of other forms of discrimination, be it transphobia, be it racism against people of colour, etc., etc. Has kind of demonstrated that, as far as he's concerned, there is a hierarchy of racism, a hierarchy of prejudice, of discrimination. See? You can use the term prejudice and discrimination interchangeably, because they are, more or less. Discrimination is when you make choices and you choose, and you basically, because someone is something, you choose for or against them. That's discrimination. Okay? Usually negatively. You can get, there are some positive discrimination is possible. We've all seen it, where it's often used to try and level up and equal the balance the playing field. Ugh. Whereas prejudice is basically where you come to a conclusion based on someone about something before you even deal with them. So two can more or less, although they're slightly different in technical terms, you can use them more or less interchangeably. Unfortunately, you can't use racism and prejudice or racism and discrimination interchangeably. If you do, that is a mistake. Because they're basic, and it's all because a simple logical reasoning. There are different types of discrimination. Racism is a type of discrimination. We also have sexism, transphobia, homophobia, etc., etc. Islamophobia is another one. So there is a number of different types of prejudice and discrimination, of which racism is one. So we can't call all prejudice racism. We don't call homophobia gay racism. We don't call sexism female racism. You know, it's that simple. Although the kind of furore all over it has died down a bit. but it still riled quite a few people up, including myself. But yeah, when it comes to what's going on and what I've got to talk about, that's pretty much the highlight, unfortunately. I mean, I think the disappointing thing is just how many. There's a lot of left-wing news outlets who basically jumped to the conclusion that because people took offence to Diane Abbott's letter and said she was anti-Semitic, she clearly was. And even as they read out the letter to people, showing they'd clearly read it, they didn't do a breakdown of it and literally started with the point that it was offensive, and that was the basis of their argument. And like I said, it's a dangerous precedent. We should not be doing things because somebody might take offence, because people can take offence at anything. You know, people took offence at my videos, for example, where I came out with trans and was talking about J.K. Rowling. Yet none of my videos were offensive. I certainly didn't intend them to be offensive. Hell, coming out as trans wasn't intended to be offensive. Yet people still took offence. Of course, I'm past the point of expecting consistency within the Labour Party now. Yeah, other than that, not really anything. If anyone is interested in my arguments, you can find them online under my. I've posted them on various other channels. It's those arguments where it's actually easier to write than it is to speak, especially for me. So. Ooh. Oh yeah. I mean, you can find them if you're interested, or anyone actually asked me about them on this video, maybe. Oh yeah, that's right. I found that I could have over 100 potions. I thought I was limited to 99, so... Okay. So we found the stairs down. It's worth noting that since we still haven't finished exploring the this level yet, we won't be taking them. I'm curious though, because there's clearly a room under there. Really? Nothing back here? Okay. Yeah, basically, if we were going by the doorways, we would never have found that. So I think I'm going to call it here. This has been Vane doing Let's Play the Elder Scrolls Arena. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. And until next time, goodbye.